Welcome to Money, Manifestation, and Business, the podcast that shows you how to use your energy, intention, and consciousness to reprogram your money mindset, unleash a new level of possibility, and create a life and business that lights you up. I'm your host, Jamie Berman, and I invite you to join me each week for a dose of inspiration, coaching, and teachings to help you rewrite your money story, create abundance on your terms, and grow your business in a way that's fully aligned for you. This is going to be so much fun. Let's dive in. Hi, y'all. Today, I thought I would do a little bit more of a personal episode. One about my journey of becoming a non-drinker, becoming a person who does not drink alcohol, which you may think, well, what does that have to do with money manifestation and business? And while it doesn't seem like it's correlated, it absolutely is, because quitting drinking has really improved my life in so many ways that no judgment for anybody who does drink. Like, I do not get triggered by that. I can be around drinkers. I fortunately do not have addiction. I do not have alcoholism. So I can absolutely be surrounded by drinkers and I'm totally fine. But it was just a choice that I made to quit drinking alcohol. And it has impacted every area of my life. So if anybody's ever considering it or thinking of taking a break, I'm always like, yes, I am all for it, because I'm on the other side of it and have seen so many wonderful things in my life as an effect of making that decision that I'm like, go for it. And so I thought today I would just share a little bit more about why I made this decision to quit drinking, how I did it, and talk a little bit about the impact that it has made on my life. So hopefully this will help some of you if you have thought about either taking a break from drinking or quitting drinking altogether. Maybe I'll share something today that helps you out in this journey. So why did I decide not to drink anymore? And this, you know what? I can't even remember. I don't know how many years it's been. Probably because I did drink at my wedding and I was 29 at my wedding. Maybe it was around the age of 30, 31, something like that. So it's probably been around 7 or 8 years that I have been alcohol free, right? And just don't drink. Because I think it was around that time, maybe a year after I got married, that I decided. I'm just thinking probably about something like that. Doesn't really matter, but it's not like this happened yesterday, right? So I have been in this identity of someone who doesn't drink for about 7, 8 years. But what helped me make the initial decision, there were a couple different things actually. Number one, I think the first thing that inspired the idea was my health, because I was struggling at that time. Yeah, it was around the age of 30, 31. Where I was really struggling with some of my PCOS symptoms. I was struggling with my weight. I was struggling with inflammation and some of the symptoms that came along with PCOS. And one of the things that a lot of what I was reading about PCOS and hormone health and all of that was that drinking, stopping drinking can really help to improve symptoms. And I also noticed, since I had insulin resistance, which is a side effect of, or a symptom of PCOS, I noticed that it would really throw my blood sugar off whenever I drank. I just did not feel good. Like back in the day when I first started drinking in my teens and 20s, I could get away with it. I would feel like crap probably, but I just slept through it or whatever. But as you get older, it was like, God, this feels awful. I don't want to have days where I just feel non-functional. Like I don't have energy. I don't feel myself. I feel sick. I don't want to go out and do things during the day. And that did not feel good. So I thought, you know what, maybe I'll just do this for my health, because I was trying to reduce my weight. I was trying to improve my symptoms and heal my PCOS. So I was like, well, maybe if I cut back on alcohol, that's what I did initially, that'll really help. And so initially I just kind of cut back. I would have it from time to time. But also with cutting back, I noticed that when I did have it, it was even worse because I wasn't used to having it. So I would have a glass of wine or have a drink and I would feel so much worse the next day. Like the hangover would be horrible because I basically became a lightweight since I reduced alcohol. So that was kind of like my first initiation into this. And it was just really for health reasons. The other reason that I kind of made this decision and came to this is because if you've heard my journey, you've probably heard that I grew up with alcoholism in my family. So I have one of my parents is has struggled with alcoholism and I grew up with that. And there were so many very challenging things growing up as an effect of that. So I just energetically kind of felt like, karmically, like, I want to complete this cycle. Like even though I do not have that struggle, I do not have that part of me that feels like I can't stop. I just wanted it to end, right? Like the alcohol, I just didn't want that in my life. I'm like, why have it? There was just so much struggle around that. And so I think I just had a connotation of like wanting a clean slate and not wanting that in my life. So that was reason number 2. Reason number 3, this one actually really inspired me. This is probably what took me to that next level of like quitting completely, is that I would go to retreats and like meditation retreats, or whenever I used to study spiritual psychology, the way that program was set up is we'd essentially have a whole super deep weekend that was sort of held like a retreat. It was like Friday through Sunday night, but like 12-hour days doing deep inner work, spiritual work, very healing stuff, right? It was like basically doing a retreat once a month with that program. And at the end of every one, they would remind people, hey, I would recommend not drinking for at least like the next 48 hours for sure. But they would say maybe even like the next week. I would hear that a lot at the retreats. And it wasn't just coming from one person. It was like many of the different retreats that I would attend. They would say, we recommend not drinking because it lowers your vibration. It's going to take you out of this state. And I thought, if drinking lowers my vibration, why would I want to do it? The work that I do in the world is all about raising my vibration, right? Feeling my absolute best on all levels, right? Mind, body, and spirit. So if alcohol is physically causing my vibration to lower, why would I want that in my body? Right. And that really inspired me. And I also just noticed, right? I don't know about you if you drink, right? But like I could feel it. I could feel it after I drank that it would like. Hi, my friend, quick commercial break to let you know about something exciting that you're going to want to sign up for because number 1, it's completely free. And number 2, it's going to be amazing. You will create such a shift by coming to my upcoming coaching intensive, which is on March 18th through 20th. And the theme of this event is manifesting money with more ease. So if you feel like manifesting money in your business has been a bit of a struggle, or you don't know how to do it without hustling and burning yourself out, you're going to absolutely love this event because I am going to give you some practical tips that you can start practicing and bringing into your business. And on top of that, I'm going to open the floor for coaching so you can either get coached or watch others get coached through this. And that in and of itself will expand your mind in such a big way. I guarantee if you come to the 3 days, you will leave experiencing something completely different than when you came. You will be inspired, you will see through a new lens, and you will learn how to manifest more money in your business. So all you have to do is go to the show notes and click the link and get signed up. For this, space is limited. So again, it's free, but we do have a limited number of people that can come because it's a coaching intensive. So grab your spot soon. energetically, I didn't feel as good. I didn't have as much energy. So I thought about that. And I remember Eckhart Tolle saying at one of his retreats that alcohol takes you below thought, right? It sometimes seems like you're in a heightened state, but it's actually taking you below thought versus when you're in meditation, it kind of takes you above thought. It takes you into a higher realm. Alcohol takes you below thought. And I just thought, that's not really what I want. Why would I drink? If I can just not drink, why not do that? So I made the decision kind of with all three of those as my why of wanting to be the healthiest version of myself and wanting to take the best care of my body and my hormones. Number two, like not wanting to repeat any patterns from, the generations before me. The third one was not wanting to lower my vibration, like wanting to be the highest, best self that I can and setting myself up for success in that way. And if there's things that I can do on a physical level, like not eat certain foods or not drink certain foods, why not, right? So I decided to quit drinking. Can I say the whole journey of quitting was easy? Absolutely not. It was not horrendous. Again, I am not someone who has this as a physical addiction. Some people literally, it changes their brain chemistry, right? And they just feel this impulse for more, just like any addiction, right? It does something to their brain. I do not have that. And I say that because I don't have that experience. But it was still challenging because I was someone who was used to social drinking, right? I had friends who I liked to drink with. I liked having a drink in certain situations. It made me feel more comfortable. Maybe it brought out a little bit more extroversion within me, made me feel less socially awkward, right? So that was the challenging part for me was, being willing to feel uncomfortable and learning how to be in certain situations without a drink, without any alcohol. So I want to share how I learned how to be sober in these situations. Thank goodness I had already had coaching in my life and I was already doing work around stopping overeating. And I was learning through that work of like doing the mindset and internal work around stopping overeating that I realized alcohol was kind of the same way, right? So in order to stop overeating and really work with that urge to eat when you're not hungry, you have to be willing to get present. You have to be willing to feel what's there, feel the discomfort and not try to run from it and give into an urge to eat, right? Same thing with drinking. I realized that the work for me, if I was going to become a non-drinker, was that I was going to have to be willing to feel uncomfortable in certain situations. So for example, anytime I would go to a wedding, I love weddings, first of all. They're so fun. Receptions are even better, right? And I love to dance. I love the music. I love dancing with my husband. But I will tell you, I did not feel comfortable dancing without having alcohol in my system prior to becoming a non-drinker, right? Now I do because I had to learn how to. But initially it was really uncomfortable. I remember going to a wedding with Josh and like he pulled me out to dance and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't even know how to dance without alcohol. I look weird. And I was so much more self-conscious, but I witnessed myself doing that. And I realized, hey, this is going to be a learning curve. I'm going to have to learn how to get comfortable in these kinds of situations without a drink. And maybe that means feeling awkward while I'm dancing. Maybe it means not dancing at all. That's totally fine too. Like in the beginning, maybe it means I don't dance, but I decided to just stretch myself and try to do the things that I would normally do, like dance and all those other things, but without alcohol. Now, is it as much fun? No, initially it's not. I remember being like, this is kind of boring. It's way more fun with a drink, especially when everyone else is drinking. But it was in alignment with who I wanted to be and the goals that I had and the identity that I wanted to step into, which is someone who knows how to have fun without alcohol. So I just let it be uncomfortable the first couple times that I did it until eventually I actually noticed with each time I started getting more and more comfortable. So now when I go to a wedding, no part of me would ever think that I need a drink in order to dance. I love to dance and I know how to let loose without it, but it was something that I actually had to learn. And the only way to learn it is to do it. And the only way to learn it is also to let yourself be uncomfortable in the midst of that learning phase, right? Another thing that I had to do was let people have their reaction about me not drinking, right? You have no idea how many, I mean, for those of you who have probably quit or taken a break, you might know, but when you have friends or family members or people in your life that are used to you having a drink with, or you have kind of that kind of situation set up where that's what you do together. You drink, maybe play games, you go out. They may not be happy about this decision. And I definitely have some friends who were not happy about this decision because they liked the Jamie who drank. She was a lot of fun. She was a wild one. I really was. I became very extroverted, very loud, which is probably why I used to drink like socially, in college and all through my 20s was because it brought me out of my shell. I'm a little more introverted. I'm a little more shy. But I did have friends that were very disappointed by this and tried to get me not to do it, thought it was a bad decision. And even though I had my reasons and I told them this is for health reasons, this is something I don't want to do, I just don't want to drink anymore, they didn't get it. And that's okay. They don't have to get it. And you may end up losing some friends over this. But the truth is, if you have a friend that you're only connected to through alcohol and drinking, like, is that really what you want in your life? Is that really a true friend? And for me, luckily, the people that were triggered by this shifted their stance and eventually they got it. They were like, nope, I guess Jamie's serious. I guess we either accept Jamie as she is. Maybe she's a little more boring. Maybe she's a little more quiet. Maybe a little more grounded, right? And maybe we get to know this new version of Jamie. So I did actually have friends that shifted and like finally accepted it and they're cool with it. Maybe still wish that I would drink here and there, but I don't, right? And so I had to let people be disappointed about this. And you can't bypass that, right? And that's their stuff. That's not yours. That's the other thing to remember. That is their stuff coming up, their own insecurities coming up, their own emotions, their own thoughts coming up, getting projected onto you. So that is something that I just held space for. It's like, this isn't really about me. And I'm sorry you're disappointed. I can understand why you're disappointed. I was really fun when I drank. So that was a tough one, but it was something that I really had to work through in order to stick to this new habit of not drinking. Now, the other one that I worked with was that I had to get used to sometimes being the odd one out, sometimes being the one person who's not drinking, right? So let's say I go to a winery with some friends who want to meet up and go to a winery, and I'm the one person that's not drinking. I just have to be willing to, on the level of I'm actually not drinking and sharing that with them, like that experience of drinking alcohol or trying the wines, I also had to be okay with being the one person out who didn't have a buzz, right? And being around people that maybe they had a buzz or whatever, and I'm over here sober, right? So that was something else I had to really get used to, is making that totally 100% okay. And I'll tell you what, when you're grounded in that and you just say, I'm not someone who drinks, I just don't drink, no judgment, you could drink, do what you want, and you're okay with it. You're not judging them. You know that they're having a good old time. And I'm not even judging the fact that they're drinking. It's awesome. I feel like this is just a total personal decision. So if someone wants to drink, right? As long as you're not doing anything dangerous, as long as you're not driving, you do you, right? But I'm going to do me. And right, I just have to be okay with, I might be in a different energetic state than them. And I'm not sharing the same experience, and that's okay, right? I don't have to. I can still share some kind of common experience, right? We're in the same room. We're still hanging out together. We're still communicating, see what you are sharing with them. It doesn't have to be the experience of drinking. Yeah, so I would say those are probably some of the harder aspects of this on a like emotional level or on a, where you just have to have a solid mindset and you have to have confidence in your decision in order to get through it. So again, just to recap, it was learning how to get comfortable in situations that I was used to drinking in. The second one was letting people be disappointed and not making that mean anything about me, not making it mean I need to change anything, not making it mean my decision was wrong or that I need to give in to what I don't want so that they can be more comfortable. I had to hold space for their disappointment and let it be totally okay. Right. And then the third one was just being okay with sometimes being the odd one out, which many times I am, right? And I'm totally fine with that, right? I'm probably the one person, the one adult at Thanksgivings that doesn't have a glass of wine. Totally okay with that, right? So being okay with I'm the one person who doesn't do this. And honestly, I like to put a little like Perrier water or sparkling water in a glass and kind of feel like it's a celebratory thing. That's one thing that I do. I also used to drink kombucha and I would pour a glass and have it like kind of like a cocktail. And now what's so cool is at restaurants, there's delicious mocktails. So a lot of times I'll just get a mocktail, which is fun and delicious and way healthier. So that is some of the stuff that I worked through, but I would say it's also just being solid in the decision and reminding myself, I don't drink anymore. I don't drink anymore. I don't drink anymore. And I really love stepping into that as an identity. I would say that made the biggest difference. It wasn't something like, oh, I drink in moderation or I drink here or there. There was some real freedom for me when I just decided I'm not someone who drinks. I just don't drink. Alcohol is not aligned for me. It's not aligned on many levels. My body doesn't love it. It's not aligned with like my future self and who I want to be and the experience that I want to have in this lifetime. I don't ever want to have a day in this lifetime that is taken away because I'm hungover, right? That was a decision that I made. And I just kept coming back to that identity of this is who I am now and stepped into that and owned it. And I'll tell you what, the more you own it, the more others will own it. Now, they might initially be disappointed, but once they work through that, if you just own this is what's happening, this is my decision, others are going to have to get on board. And eventually they do, right? So I said, there's been so many positive impacts of this. And that's why I wanted to actually create this podcast episode, because I'll tell you what, so many incredible things have happened in my life since then. Number one, I feel like I've deepened in my relationship with myself. I have deepened in my relationship with my, with the divine, with God. I go deeper in my meditations. I feel like it isn't something that brings me down, right? There's not something there that's lowering my vibration. So I just overall feel better. I also get much better sleep than I used to. Again, never, ever am I hungover. Never can I not drive. Never am I making a decision that I'm like, I wish I wouldn't have done that because I was drinking. That's not a problem for me anymore. How freeing is that, right? I never say things that, oh no, I wish I didn't say that, or what did I say? Right? That stuff just doesn't happen. It's a non-existent thing for me. And I love that. On top of it, I am 50 pounds lighter than I was when I was a drinker. And I know that it has had such a positive impact on my health. I have much less inflammation. I feel so much better. I'm able to work out every single day. I move my body every single day because I'm never out because I drink, right? I feel like I'm a lot more creative. My business has taken off, right? If you think about it, my business really started around that time that I became a non-drinker. So I feel like so much has shifted in those 7 or 8 years. My business has grown amazingly. My relationship just keeps getting better and better. My life just keeps getting better and better. And I know that it's not all an effect of quitting drinking, but I also know quitting drinking has impacted that in such a good way. So while I'm not over here saying everyone should quit drinking, like I don't believe in drinking, I don't believe in alcohol, I believe everyone gets to make the decision for themselves. Everyone gets to use self-authority. And for some people, I think you know what? If it doesn't have negative impacts on your life, like go for it, enjoy it, right? There's actually stuff on the Blue Zone documentary and in the work of Blue Zones that says that moderate wine is actually great as a social thing, right? So it's all about your relationship to it, how it feels for you. I am not someone who's like, no, everyone should give up drinking, right? But I will say this, if you're someone who's had that instinct, but it's felt hard, I highly recommend that if you have the instinct to quit, go for it. Because on the other side of it, there's a lot of freedom. It really, for me, freed me from so much more than I even realized it would. And I'm so glad I made that decision. I'm so glad I'm someone who doesn't drink. I feel like it's only going to impact me in a positive, like my health in a positive way for the rest of my life. And so that's why I wanted to record this episode, is just for encouragement that you too can quit drinking and you can be really cool and you can still have fun. You may have to learn how to do it. You're going to have to relearn it, right? It's like a new way of doing things. It's like when I stopped hustling for results and stopped hustling to make money, right? I had to learn a new way. It felt really wobbly. It felt really uncomfortable whenever I learned how to slow down in my business and get into alignment and learn how to use manifestation. That whole journey was a learning curve. Even though it was more powerful, it was more empowering, it was more aligned with the way I want to be. It was really wobbly getting there. Same with this. So you have to know it might be a little bit of a wobbly journey. You might not feel comfortable all the time. And that is totally okay, because you will get there. So I hope this episode was helpful in some way. And I thought it would just be fun from time to time to share a little bit of like a personal journey that I've gone through and share some of the ins and outs of it, the whys, the how, and hopefully it will inspire at least one of you if you've been wanting to go on this journey. So let me know, keep me posted if you decide to become a non-drinker as well. Join the party with me. We won't be alone. All right. Have a beautiful day. Hey, thanks for listening. I hope this episode is something that you'll be able to add to your manifestation toolbox to come back to when you need a little extra motivation. If you like what you've heard today and want to take it deeper, you've got to come check out my signature coaching program, the Money Manifestation Movement. It's the place where you'll not only learn manifestation, but you'll begin to live it alongside me and an amazing community of like-minded entrepreneurs doing this work together. Head on over to jamieberman.com to learn more.